Hi, everyone. It's Andrew here with Christina, who's one of our keynote speakers here with OQConf on October 5th through the 7th. Your talk is on the 6th. Just, I didn't want to scare you there. So it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, Christina, your talk is going to be talking about driving your team to a full stack quality ethos. And in your experience, what's the common mistake that teams are making in trying to do this?
Right. I think it's about the process. So all of a sudden, everyone wants to do it. I mean, even in the teams that I've been in, we've done this mistake where like all of a sudden you want to do everything and then you just get everything together and then like you want to do performance, you want to do security, but there's no sort of process. There's no sort of, step by step manner. It's not done in that way. So then it's like, end of the day, it's like soup, right? Not soup, but then yeah.
It's a mess. It's a giant
Yeah,
mess.
it's yes, it is.
That's what it is.
So I think that's what was the pain point for me and the teams that I worked with. And that's why I'm going to talk about how we can slowly approach it. It's not going to come overnight. Trust me, it's not going to. And it's going to take some time. And yes, it's an investment. It's a decision, a big decision, a group decision. So that's what I'm going to talk about.
Excellent. Yeah, I did that once a long time ago. It was like, oh, we can test everything. Let's turn it all on, and it's like everything fails, and it's like I don't even know where to begin debugging this.
Right. Yes.
What failed? Everything failed. What passed? I don't know. I can't see the passing. So yeah. What caused you to want to share this experience at OQConf?
Right. So the reason is because I think a lot of open source tools is what I've used, and the teams that I worked with felt more comfortable. Why? I wouldn't say that obviously the non-open source tools are not helpful. They also have that approach of making sure there's a lot of tools out there. I'm not going to name any, but then there's a lot of tools out there that are paid tools that are not open source, are thinking the approach of bringing or incorporating full stack testing. However, the reason for open source tools to be helpful because you can customize them. You can use them in the way you want it. You can mend them, you can mold them. And that's why I thought this will be a good talk for an open source tool. Open source quality talk, especially because it helps us to use those tools out there and make this approach a reality. That's basically why.
Yep. Oh yeah, and it's using the open source tools. You got to pick the ones that work best with your tech stack as well. That your
Exactly.
team has confidence in, and you're not being forced to use something that you're not comfortable with or doesn't work well with your tech stack either.
Exactly. Right. That's true.
Yep. I actually did one where I actually had to use the paid tool because it worked better with the software than the open source stuff, which was weird. But then it was Microsoft, so it made sense.
Yeah, same thing. So I had to do some performance testing with SAP, and it didn't work well with my with the open source tool. But yes, you can use some plugins and make it work, but then it's extra effort. It can be painful. If you have the money, then yes, you can go and use those paid tools that work well. So
Yep. Like the open source tool could work, but then it comes down to how much time are you willing to invest in it to make it work.
Exactly.
In this particular edge case at that point. And hysterically, if you're probably paying for SAP, you probably have the budget for it. But that's a different. We can go into like conversations of how to do development at another point in time.
Right.
So what open source project did you select to donate to, and why?
Right. I selected Selenium because I've been breathing Selenium for a long time, I would say, to do my testing. And I did select Apache JMeter because that's where I learned performance testing, and I'm so loyal to that. Even though I've been using other performance testing tools after that, I still feel that it's a very good place to start.
Hmm.
So, and they have been doing so many things to become very close to, or basically closing up those those issues, not issues, I would say, places where they fall a bit down from other tools. They bring in plugins. There's a lot of community building going on as well. So that's why I chose these tools. uh, Actually could have chosen Appium as well. I don't know if I put it in that list. That's another tool that have been really helpful for me when I was doing mobile testing. Currently, I'm not using it, but then these are tools that
Hmm.
I'm using now, and means a lot to me. That's
Yep.
why.
And was it that you said Appium, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, what is one thing you wish you knew as a tester before when you started out? Essentially, what's your advice you would give to your younger self?
Right. So when I started doing, so I come from a development background, right? And then when I started, my understanding, I started initially with performance testing. When I started testing, I didn't do functional testing first. So pushed into the deep end, I thought just knowing the tool would not do the work for me, which is clearly wrong. Knowing the tool definitely helps you to write your scripts right. But
Hmm.
however, you need to know the basics of the process, understanding the requirements, understanding the end user's approach. This is not only for performance testing, it's about the whole, right?
Testing as a
And
whole, yeah.
yeah, so that was something that I didn't realize then. And I think, in short, if I can put it, get into the shoes of the end user, then you will know what you want to test, what you
Hmm.
should be testing.
Oh yeah, yeah. That definitely helps out a lot more because it's one thing to have something work, but it's another thing to does it make sense for the end user, which is definitely a key point in like all testing
Right,
for
yes.
everything. You'll get a lot more from our talk, so make sure you join and register and get your tickets today at oqconf.com/tickets.